Well, it's time to talk business, but let's start with a big story. Nigeria's central bank has spent nearly 3 years rebuilding its credibility. Inflation has eased, reserves have grown, and the exchange rate has stabilized, drawing praise from global lenders and ratings agency. But the World Trade Organization's Director General was in Abuja for the Emerging Market Summit this week to underline what the numbers still do not show. Praise with a condition. Well, Okonjo-Iweala tells Mr. Cardoso the impact of the reforms need to be felt more. You know, she was there for the summit, like I said earlier. And if we look at the figures, to speak to these figures, the reforms under the present Governor Olayemi Cardoso, according to her, have produced real numbers. But those numbers, she said, must translate into something Nigerians can feel. From 34.8% headline inflation in December 2024, it has eased to 15.91% as we speak. $33 billion was what we had in our reserves, and as of today, it stands about 52.7 billion US dollars. That's talking about our gross reserves on this dashboard. 60% was the disparity in the foreign exchange market before the liberalization of the market, and it now stands to about 2% is what we see that difference in that market since that market has been opened up, talking about the foreign exchange market now. Now, 52.73 billion gross external reserves, as I said earlier, grew from 33.28 billion. Now, these figures tells the story. 15.91% and 4.65 trillion naira mobilized from fresh bank capital after the recapitalization of Nigeria's banking industry. NPR aggressively raised and currently held at 26.5%. You would even recall that even the Fed held on to rates at the moment, considering what is happening geopolitically. Well, let's move on. The return to monetary policy orthodoxy. Now, pre-June 2023, before President Tinubu took office, that's immediately after he took office, we had the multiple arbitrary windows, which gave chances for, arbitrage and all of that in the foreign exchange market. But post-2023, market-determined and unified regime is what we have at the moment. Fiscal financing, large-scale ways and means. We know of the ways and means. Above 25 trillion naira at that time. And of course, government has ended monetary policy financing of fiscal deficits. Market integrity, opaque liquidity, $7 billion backlog. And that also has been sorted out by the present central bank. Transparent, electronic foreign exchange margin is what we operate at the moment. External validation secured. That shift has drawn internal recognition. Nigeria exited the Financial Action Task Force grey list in October 2025 after completing a 19-point anti-money laundering action plan. Fitch, Moody's, S&P improved fundamentals and reforms credibility. Now, IMF also gave so much of endorsement. They praised the reforms and at the moment are projecting that Nigeria will grow at about 4.1% GDP for 2026, despite global challenges. Nigeria's central bank was also named the Central Bank of the Year 2026 in London, and Mr. Cardoso received the African Bankers Award in 2025. Necessary but not sufficient. Youth employment is the ultimate test. Now, the official measurement, according to the NBS methodology, places youth unemployment in the country with figures about 5 to 6.5%. 93% of the jobs remain in the low productive informal sector. Now, about 1.7 million new graduates entering the market annually. They need compelling reasons to build their future at home. Well, the social reality, millions of young Nigerians are without jobs, and that's why we have a lot of initiatives popping up, and government is saying, and Dr. Okonjo-Iweala and even other agencies are saying more needs to be done with regards to job creation. Praise with purpose. Now, what the central bank has done in trying to reposition itself and focus on its core mandate has been commendable. But macroeconomic achievements will ultimately be judged by their impact on households, and people must feel tangible benefits. Her verdict is that good governance will account majorly for the country's economic success going forward. Well, that's it on our big story for tonight. Well, other stories are in the world of business now. Day 2 of the African Emerging Market Forum.